Luchasaurus, I think, yeah, they should just push the crap out of that guy.
Yeah, and there were like, you kind of alluded to it in your review, but there were a lot of questionable decisions in regards to the wins and losses. I know AEW is really pushing how much wins and losses do matter. Would you have had Kenny Omega go 0-2 in his first 2 matches on pay-per-view in AEW?
No, definitely not. I don't know. It's there. I don't know. I feel like I'm watching the show is like watching like the Harry Potter movies without having read the books. Like where you get kind of like you have a general idea of what's going on, but you're missing all of this backstory that everybody else has that you don't have, kind of thing. Because people saying, "Oh yeah, Kenny Omega is like it was like this and this in Japan and this on Being the Elite." And it's like, well, not everybody watches those things or knows who Kenny Omega is. And it's, especially when you're going to national TV, TNT in a couple of weeks here, and you want to put your best foot forward. And it's like Kenny Omega is the guy who's going to be the big star of the show, and he's out here on this losing streak out there, and it just I don't understand necessarily the mentality behind it. It's really weird. I mean, maybe I'm old school, but it's like he's going to be the big star of the show, so have him go out there and beat some people, I feel like.
Yeah, and I heard that Pac is not really signed long term, so I don't get it. I mean, at least if he was going to lose, you could build an angle around it. Maybe somebody cost him X, Y, and Z, even a video of Moxley or something like that. But no, that was listen. I take nothing away from the match, however. The match was an incredible wrestling match, and I'm a huge fan of what Pac's able to do. And I thought the finish was even pretty intriguing. But it was just, like you said, it was caught me by surprise. That's for sure.
I'm nothing against Pac winning or anything like that. I mean, it's fine. It's just as far as the big picture goes, though. It's they should protect Kenny Omega a little bit better, I feel like.
Which is weird coming from Japan, where he was, invincible. So I think it's an interesting dynamic. Speaking of invincible, Darby Allin, Jimmy Havoc, and Joey Janela. I feel like all three of those guys are video game characters, and Darby Allin has the award for 2 of the worst things I've ever seen happen in a pro wrestling match: the coffin drop on the apron and
Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, the Cracker Barrel of Doom. There you go, the Cracker Barrel of Doom.
Cracker Barrel of Doom. Yes, there you go. Coin that one.
The way the guy landed, he landed at the V, the divot in the, and I don't know. I couldn't stop watching the match though. Like I literally could not turn away. It
was something. The match was something. I basically texted my friend at the end of the match. I was like, "What the hell did I just see?" And
it was something. You're right. It was something.
It was something. It was not boring. I gave it 4 stars. I was not bored watching this match. I will give it that. I was cringing and like kind of embarrassed to be watching it at points. Like he was dumping the thumbtacks in his mouth and taping his mouth shut. But it's like, boy, it was entertaining, and on that level alone, I have to give him props.
Yeah, and the thumbtack skateboard spot from Darby Allin, like anybody who watched that match, like if you see either of these 3 guys in a match on the next show or on TNT, you're like, oh man, I'm gonna have to watch this strictly because of this match. So I would agree with the 4 stars because I feel like they accomplished exactly what they set out to do.
Except I don't know about the staple gun though. It's really weird because like New Jack used a staple gun, but I'm pretty sure it was a worked staple gun where there wasn't actually staples in it. And it's like, is Jimmy Havoc out there actually stapling himself? Like, is this what we've proceeded to in the HD era, where you have to use real staples so that you can fool people? Like, I don't know. That's questionable.
You could do what WWE does and just cut away every time there's any sort of impact shot whatsoever, and then zoom all the way out.
Oh God, have you ever watched on a bit of a tangent here? If you're their recap videos on YouTube,
no,
that's it. Oh, it's really, really fascinating. I fell down the rabbit hole of their website where they'd be doing top 10. There's one my favorite one currently watching is it'll recap all of John Cena's 16 world title wins, right? For people such as myself who can't keep track of them anymore. It's really handy. You just go through and they just show the finishes of all the match. Anyway, right. But it's like if somebody's bleeding you get a black and white screen because it has to be, family friendly on YouTube. And somebody goes for a chair shot, they edit it out, right? Like you see them swinging the chair, and cut to the crowd, they'll come back, right? Yeah, like it's nuts, the editing that they do for this stuff. It's like being in this alternate universe where chair shots don't happen or something. It's really strange. AEW, however, is going in the complete opposite direction from that. There is chair shots galore at AEW, and some of them are quite brutal.
Do you remember the old? I think it was Brutus Beefcake and Ron Bass when he.
Oh yeah, the big red X. Yeah. There you go. That's classic.
Now that. I wanted when I was a kid. I was like, "Oh my!" I'm like, "He's killing that."
That was terrifying. Exactly. Yeah. It's like, what's going on under that red X, man? Like, Jesus.
Yes, blur it out at least, but don't insult the intelligence of the fan, Yeah. And I think that's why everybody's looking for such an alternative right now. I also want to agree with what you said about the Dark Order. As much as I loved Super Smash Brothers, I don't get it with the Dark Order, and I don't think I'm the only one missing that either.
Yeah, no, I don't really understand the gimmick. I don't get what it's. I don't get where it came from, and I don't get why they keep putting them over all these matches, and Luchasaurus keeps losing. It really makes no sense to me. They don't look like stars. Is the thing, and it's just they're just point where I want to watch wrestling and have escapism. I want to see people who are larger than life stars, and these look like a couple of guys, one of whom was wearing a mask. And why are you guys scary? I just don't get it.
If you want to see larger than life stars, then I hope you tune into afterwards, and you get to see the debut of Orange Cassidy.
Mm-hmm. And this man, hey, I'm big on the Orange Cassidy train, but
he's a
very specific type of of appeal,
Yeah, he is. He's the new Captain Charisma. Orange Cassidy I think he's got the potential to be one of the most over guys in AEW. Strictly for a crowd reacts when the man's aviators fall off. For the love of God, he's got him in the palm of his hand.
Yes, he does. Yeah, Orange Cassidy is fantastic. People give grief about it, but I'm like, this guy has found his niche and he is leaning into it. So good on him.
Yeah, and when he has to work, he works, and he's a hell of a wrestler. And I think it's the perfect, the perfect combination. Riho versus Hikaru Shida. I don't want to say I found it tough to get into this match. I mean, they put on a perfectly acceptable wrestling match, but it was all for the angle afterwards. Are you in on Riho and Nyla Rose?
No, I don't. I don't really understand why they're going. Like, they have Dr. Britt Baker. Like, isn't that supposed to be their star? Like, why? I don't understand. Like, they're building up, some women to supposedly be their stars, and then their world title match is going to be Riho versus Nyla Rose on TNT. Like, I don't get some of their decision making as far as where they're going with this stuff. That just doesn't feel like a big time world title program to me.
Yeah, there's no name recognition in either one of those. In either one of those women. I mean, Awesome Kong in there would have been a different story. Like I said, Dr. Britt Baker, but
even if they stuck Brandy Rhodes in there or something like that, right? It would have been. As long as she loses, it's fine. But just something to give it some oomph behind it.
Yeah, a reason for people to tune in and say, "Oh, okay, I know the Rhodes last name," or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Speaking of tuning in, you mentioned earlier, the later the show gets, the crankier you get. Shawn Spears, Cody Rhodes, you tore the match apart. Does that review hold up?
I've watched the match again. I mean, people have said they really like it in retrospect. Yeah, that's great. I'm the first to say that my tastes are not necessarily the same as everybody else who might be watching. I don't know. I was not into the match at all. I'm not digging Shawn Spears as a top guy. I don't know. I feel like they're just using him as kind of a stopgap for something for Cody Rhodes to do while they get to TNT. I guess would be the way to put it. But I mean, I don't know. I felt like Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson eclipsed the star power of everybody in the match, and that's not great. And I found, I don't know, the whole thing with the dog was really off-putting to me. Like, it was just, the poor guy, like the fireworks go off and he's all spooked and they're making him come down there.
I did feel bad for Pharaoh. As soon as the fireworks went off, you could see it. It was like, that was tough.
I mean, the whole thing with MJF, it's just, That's another thing. See, that's another thing where it's like we're missing the backstory. Because people are like, oh yeah, it's this whole thing with being the elite and stuff. And it's like, but if you're not watching that, they're not doing a very good job of explaining why it is that MJF is being a complete dick to everybody and is clearly a heel. But then he comes out and we're supposed to be sympathetic towards him because he's Cody Rhodes' best friend in real life. Maybe, I'm not sure. Like, that was really underwhelming choice for the corner man after all the build up. Arn Anderson was still great, of course. I mean, like say him and Tully are pros, right? Like, they don't even have to be able to work in the ring. They can come out there and pop a crowd. And
yeah, neither one.
That's kind of star power they use.
Yeah, Tully Blanchard was great.
Tully Blanchard was great. Absolutely, Tully Blanchard's great.
And Arn Anderson, the crowd went crazy for. I think Joe had mentioned it. We were watching the show. Joe alluded to maybe we have Tully Blanchard in the J.J. Dillon 4 Horsemen leader spot, and then MJF turns, and you get Sean Spears and some long-term booking. That, to me, I would be on board with that because it gives them all a sense of purpose. And maybe they're kind of waiting for these the backstory to all these feuds to develop for the TNT show. I don't know. It's they've had so many shows without that weekly show. I think they're going to have a lot of catching up to do on the first couple of weeks. And I although I will say they did air that special on TNT on Friday night where they did tell the story, but that wasn't really promoted enough because I didn't even know about it. So, and I watched
it. It did a big rating apparently though. So that's
good.
That's a good sign at least. Yeah. It did really well. I think speaking of MGF, I think he's going to be a huge star. Like they're going to put him on TNT. I think he's going to take off. It's like the character is like a combination between The Miz and Alberto Del Rio, and like, and he can work as well. I mean, like, yeah, he's got something.
Yeah, I mean, he's such a young age. He wrestled his first match on Long Island, probably 20 minutes away at a Creative Pro show. And remember when that guy first started, and see where he is. He's got such a bright future. He's so easy to legitimately hate. And I know, and I mean, and
I've been getting into MLW recently here too, watching that. And yeah, he's just such a fantastic character on that. Him and his gang of guys, like going car shopping and stuff. It's just such easy, stupid heat, but it's just like he pulls it off so well.
Yeah, he's really just a detestable human being, and that's, I mean, in the best way possible. And he's not one of the.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
he's a real, like, that's the kind of heat you want. Kind of reminds me of like almost like an early franchise Shane Douglas. Like, he had that kind of heat when he broke Pitbull's neck and that kind of thing. Like, that's the heat that you don't see anymore. Like, I'm going to cause a riot because I have so much disdain towards you kind of thing. So exactly. And if he turns on Cody, I think it's got money written all over it. So I guess we'll see. The last match on the show, we've seen it a couple times now, but Pentagon and Phoenix versus the Young Bucks. Did that hit all of the points you were hoping it was going to hit? I mean, I thought it was a really great match, and but the problem is, to me, we've seen so much from them. They had so much to do. Was that
100%
was that the epic match you were hoping?
Oh yeah, no, it was a great match. I don't want to see any more of it now. It's wonderful. I don't want to poor Young Bucks. They were just the one spot where Nick slipped on the top rope.
Caught, right?
Yeah. Oh God. Oh, that was terrifying.
He did the same thing against at the ladder war match against the Briscoes, and the exact same thing happened to him, and he went face first through a table the exact same way. Like, it's worst luck I've ever seen. But yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, no, the matches are great. It's crazy though. It's like I really love their New Japan run from the last year or so. It's like, because, they go over there and you have somebody like a Ghetto who just like completely reins them in. And it's like, okay, Matt, go out there and the story is you're going to sell your back for 15 minutes. And they just go out there and they work this great old school tag team matches. And they're just they can be a great team when, they're toned down and just given a focus, and rather than going out there and jumping off ladders and smashing tables. And, for what it is, obviously that's great. That's their thing. But yeah, it kind of leads to the main thing with AEW is they need to bring somebody in to be, it's kind of like that guiding force. Like, they need a booker, somebody to come in there and, and tell these guys, this is what you're going to do and this is the direction that you're going to have. And, I also agree with you. I mean, I remember there were spots in his New Japan run when he was trying to get people up for the Meltzer driver and he couldn't because his back was hurting.